Hey everybody, it's Jaha Zainabu, and welcome to Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 43 Part 3 slash 365. So, we're going to jump into it. Today I'm going to read from my, the latest collection called, my ebook collection called Musings and Experiences of a Black Woman in America. How about that? I'm just going to dive in. I'm just going to read it. So if you want to read my collection of ebooks, you can go to www.payhip.com/jahazart and voila. And you can purchase them all there. There are right now 13 or 14, 13 of them. So check them out. I'll put the PayHip site in the description. So we're going to jump in. Introduction. I have always had a hate-love relationship with America. It's where I have always lived, but it was never a place I could settle in and call home. I was in elementary school when Roots came on television. My grandmother used to babysit me and babysit my sister and me, until my mother or father picked us up. We walked into my grandparents' house after school and watched it every day on TV. And I sat on the couch in the living room and I was sick with what I saw. But I could not stop watching. Roots was not my first time, of course, learning about slavery, but something about seeing it on television. Seeing Black people who looked like my family and me in chains, beaten, and worked to the bone, stirred a fire in me that never left. This land would never be my home. That's not to say that I have not had plenty of good experiences here. I just experienced them all knowing that there was another shoe surely to drop. And I have also had plenty of scary experiences here. And this book is a collection of those, the good, the bad, the ugly ones, in no particular order. Gratitude. I am thankful for waking up this morning, thankful for my life, even now, even today, even here. Thankful for good food, for clean water, for peace and ease in my mind, even now, even here. I am thankful for my son, for good friends, for family, for my mother and my sister. I am thankful for poetry and art, for love, for good mental and physical health, for my working limbs and sight, for happiness in my heart, even now, even here, even today. Thankful for long rides with friends, for big green trees lining pathways, for beaches and mountains, for joy, for my home, for all of my blessings, for a good rest last night, for a comfortable bed, for money, for good company and hugs, for every valley, for all the lessons, a hot bath, and for my life today. Bubba. My Uncle Bubba was one of the smartest men I have ever known. He was my mother's oldest brother and was a street guy. I don't think he graduated from any school. My whole life, he has been in and out of jail. Still, I have never met a man more educated. Bubba was a Black Muslim, the only one in my family. He was in jail. He used to write letters to me often. I was very young. I think the letters began when I was in the 4th grade or so. And he would tell me what books to read, ask about my day, teach me life lessons. And when he was not in jail, he mostly lived with my grandparents, and I would see him after school. The life lesson he repeated most to me was, the truth is always something you have to search for. I was fascinated with his jail stories. I read George Jackson's Blood in My Eye because of Bubba. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X and Roots because of him. Bubba's lessons were the beginning of my social justice studies. Because of Bubba, I lived my life searching for truths. Suspicious. I was about 25 years old when I was out driving one day. I was in Long Beach one afternoon when I pulled up to a stoplight. A car pulled up next to me, and out of habit, I turned to my left to see who was beside me and noticed that it was a cop. And I acknowledged him, and then I looked straight ahead at the light. When the signal turned green, I drove off. The cop pulled behind me and flashed his lights for me to pull over. I didn't know what the problem was. I wasn't speeding. My tags were current. What did he want, right? When he approached my door, he asked for my license, registration, and insurance, and I gave him everything. When he handed them back to me, I asked why he pulled me over. And he told me that back at the light when he pulled up next to me, when I looked over at him, I gave him eye contact, and that made me look suspicious. Eye contact. A black woman looking a white man in the face was suspicious. I see. The ride. And then there are days like this, when a long drive down backwoods Georgia roads bring trees and curves, deer in the sun set just right. Make me feel like this could be home. This land my grandparents built. Thunder roars on cue. Lightning strikes out of the blue. Rain dance on my windshield. Bounce off my tires. Rhythm of wiper blades almost put me to sleep. Beat like a metronome. Tune from the radio. Story falls out of singer's southern drawl about a man missing a woman. About a dog. About a boy and his guitar. My body sinks into the seat. Mind roams from now to yesterday, from dirt to sky, grass so green, clouds so love, I could cry. The stories more and more. It keeps happening. In every woman's circle I'm in, school, church, social, there is always a woman living out her life in fear. Slowly, the secrets unfold during a break. Prayer, wine. As a writer and a black woman, I feel torn. I love my brothers, but there are all these stories. All these women like me, women, mothers, sisters, wives, daughters, with all these stories, all these scars, and I am led to write to set the stories free. Too many women are dying by the hands of men who promised love, promised safety, promised hands that would hold. In class last night, woman after woman shared stories about abuse. Some stories I could relate to, others I couldn't even imagine. Vicious attacks, not from strangers on the street. These were boyfriends, lovers, husbands. I'm guilty of hearing a woman being beaten, and I did nothing but turn my lights out, cried, and prayed. I was watching the afternoon news when I heard the kicks, the stupid bitch this and silly motherfucker that, and I am sorry that I did nothing, and I promised myself that I would never do nothing again. But stories are everywhere. Every time I turn around, they are there, reaching, grabbing, haunting. To a brave woman, I know. We pretend to understand, but we were not there. You were. With your young children, with your mother, your father, your sister, your niece. You were there. You saw the waters rise, heard the snap and crash when the levees broke. You were there, waited for rescue. No one came. You waited on rooftops, holding babies, stepping over grandmothers, cooks and gardeners gone home to be with God. Water rising higher and higher. Your own baby floated on to glory. Your family was relocated, scattered across the country that let the levees break. We saw cracks, heard rumors, levees still broke. Your baby is with the angels. You saw the waters rise, held on to faith, to love, to God, left home without your sister, without your niece, without your baby, without your hope, held on to forgiveness, sanity, yourself. Your sister is not in Canada, not in Utah, not in the Carolinas, not Georgia. They found her body, your sister's body, under the cracks of the levees. Your sister is with Jesus. We hold you. We will keep you in our prayers. We will hold on with you to tomorrow, to dreams, to you. Bed making. When I was a young girl, my mother made me a bed. Best bed I ever had. Every night, the trip to Builder's Emporium on Delamo in Carson, near Aunt Mildred's house. It is not there anymore, not the store, not the bed, not Aunt Mildred either. The memory won't leave. Pride, wood, nails, stained inside my love. Best place ever. When I was in elementary school, Melissa brought a note to our teacher from her mother. It said she had permission not to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Our teacher scowled at her when she read it, and she yelled at Melissa and told her, "But you must stand at least. You don't even know why you aren't saying it." Then she gave us lessons and speeches about America being the best place ever. I didn't know why Melissa didn't recite the pledge. I didn't understand why she needed a note to be excused. Mostly, I didn't get why the teacher was so upset and forced her to stand, but I was curious. And despite the teacher's lessons, I knew the world was way too big for America to be the best place of all. I feared the world if that were true. I heard too many stories about black bodies hanging from trees, about slavery, about whites-only restrooms in the South, about the KKK, about Martin Luther King Jr. getting shot. And if America was the best place ever, then what was out there in the rest of this big old world? At the heart of the matter. One Wednesday in 2010, I woke up with a tightness in my chest. It felt like a fist squeezing behind my heart. The pressure lifted after a few deep breaths and prayers. I was afraid because just the year before, my father died of a heart attack. The next morning, the pain moved from my chest to my back. It settled directly between my shoulders. I told myself that if I was still hurting the next morning, then I would go to the hospital. I don't have health insurance, and this is how we do. We wait out the pain and put off getting help because time, because money. 3:00 Friday morning, the pain was in my chest again. My left arm was tingling down to my fingers, and dear God, this is how we do, the uninsured. We wait, hope, hurt, and pray. About 7:30 that morning, the pain dissolved, but I went to the emergency room anyway. My blood pressure was dangerously low, so the doctor wanted to keep me through the night, to monitor me, and to do more tests the next morning. The next day, after the stress test, the blood test, and the x-rays, they found it wasn't my heart. I am uninsured, so they were not looking for what the problem was. They just wanted to make sure that they didn't send me home to have a heart attack the next day and have my family to the hospital the day after that. Maybe the pain was just a message to let it all go, Let go the worry over money, family, time, career, friends, the worry over worry. I am back to walking more, taking regular deep breaths and recognizing the smallness of what I worry about. Perhaps I didn't need a message so big to learn lessons so small. But then again, maybe so. We are Topeka, Kansas. This morning I woke up and heard on the news that so-and-so was kicked off Dancing with the Stars. Some magazine named Rihanna the most beautiful woman in the world. Kim Kardashian had on the same dress as Lady Gaga, and oh yeah, domestic violence is no longer illegal in Topeka, Kansas. That's the order the stories were reported. They can't afford it. And so far, 30 suspects have been released. Rita Smith, executive director of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, said in the Kansas City Star's report, "I absolutely do not understand it. It's really outrageous that they are playing with family safety to see who blinks first. People could die while they're waiting to straighten this out." End quote. This is America, where the safety of women and children is not prioritized. This is what we are teaching our boys, who will grow into men who will make laws protecting more men. Journal entry from July 12th, 2020. On Wednesday, the clouds formed and were loaded with voices and pointing fingers. They know what to say. I dread every depressive spell, the way the clouds call my body a home. Sometimes I know when they are coming. I see them miles away, approaching slowly as a submarine. Still, I cannot seem to get out of the way fast enough. This time, I braced myself, like that would make a difference. Clouds came anyway and hurt just as bad. This was more than depression. Add Elijah McCain and all the black bodies who have become hashtags. The heavy in my spirit and body would not be named, but it was too brick to be called just depression. I set up with it this time, and I would not give it the last word. For every dig about how worthless and helpless I am in the fate of my people, the more I remembered how loved I am and the mighty ancestors from whom I come. It was a fight, indeed, a spiritual warfare. I woke up Thursday morning understanding the meaning of a new day. I don't know why, but joy washed over me and stayed. Later I laughed and hugged a friend, shared a bottle of wine and memories, some that hurt and some that remind me that the rainbow of my life is filled with all the colors, all the yellows, the oranges, and reds wrap around all the gray days. Not because you're black. I was about 20 years old and I lived in Buena Park, California. I was in a car with my boyfriend in Huntington Beach. We sat in the back seat of his car that was parked near the beach, and yes, we were just chilling. A white cop knocked on the window and asked to see our identifications. We showed him. The problem, no problem. He asked us a bunch of questions. Where we had been earlier, how long had we been parked there, what we did for a living, and other questions that had nothing to do with anything other than wanting to question two young black people who were parked in a white neighborhood where my boyfriend lived. When he ran out of questions, he said, "Well, I was just questioning you because there was a stabbing a few blocks over, and you two fit the description." He didn't say which one of us fit the made-up description. Boyfriend, me, both of us. A stabbing. A stabbing? Really? Why didn't he ask to search the car for a knife? He gave us a final once-over and then told on himself with, "And it's not because you're black either." Really? Okay. Sure, officer. Sure. Good times. Happy days are here again. There is always an again. We always create times to be happy. I love black folks. I love how we party, dance, and how we sing after hard days, after long work shifts with little to no money. We find ways and reasons to shout, praise, and testify. We always gonna be all right. with little to no proof. Somehow we just keep pushing. There was always some rent party, some auntie holding court at some card table, some baby teaching us some new dance move. I love us, we forever making lemonade from the lemons we've been dealt. Pulled over in Oklahoma. In 2005, I was alone when I drove my Chevy Impala from Los Angeles, California to McDonough, Georgia. The trip took about 4 days and for the most part went smoothly. During the last part of my journey, I was going through Oklahoma. It was about noon and the highway was mostly clear. After some time, a white cop pulled closely behind me. And I guess, to run my plates. A few minutes later, he lagged very far behind me. And when I changed lanes, he sped up to catch me, then flashed the lights for me to pull over. I didn't know what I had done, but I pulled over. I sat a few moments and waited for him to get out of his car and approach my window to ask for my paperwork that I had ready. But he didn't get out. He never got out. Instead, he got on his loudspeaker and instructed me to slowly exit my vehicle and walk back to his car with my papers. I had never heard of this before and was very skeptical. Get out. Walk back to him. I didn't have a cell phone and was keenly aware of how alone and unprotected I was, but I obeyed. I held my hands up and walked slowly as I could to his car. Now, on the way, I tried to make eye contact with anyone passing by on the highway. There were very few cars and none of them seemed to look my way. And here's what was especially scary about this long walk to the cop's car. He held his gun pointed at me. I was afraid. Like, what in the deep south is happening here? That was not my first time being pulled over, but I had never experienced what was happening. There was a canine in the back seat. There was a gate between the back and front seats, so the dog could not move from where it was, but I am very afraid of dogs, so I was even more afraid. The officer reached over and opened the passenger's side door and motioned me to go on that side. And I assumed it was because his side was close to the highway, and that's just how they did it in Oklahoma. Well, I stood next to the door with my papers in hand to present to him. Get in, he spoke. Get in the car? I asked. I knew this was not normal. I knew this was not okay. I knew I was not safe, but I got in. Barely. I had half a butt cheek on the seat and the rest of my body outside. Get in and close the door, he said. My heart could probably have been seen beating outside of my chest. Slowly, I did what he told me. I've never done this before, I told him as I gave him my papers. I slowly shut the door. He could see from my driver's license and car plates that I was from California. He asked me where I was going, and I told him Atlanta. He wanted to know why I was going to Atlanta, to visit friends. He wanted to know what was sticking above my back seat, canvases. I'm an artist. He asked a bunch of questions about my art, more questions about my friends in Atlanta, questions, and more questions. I answered all of them. Then he stopped talking. I never looked at him. The whole time, I kept staring straight ahead, and when he stopped talking, I kept my head forward, but I looked at him sideways. I think that was the scariest time of my life. So many things ran through my mind. He's going to tell me to give him oral sex. He's going to sick the dog on me. He's going to shoot me. All kinds of thoughts. He was quiet for maybe 30 seconds, but that time felt like hours. And finally, he said that he pulled me over because when I changed lanes, I didn't signal, and that he was going to give me a warning and let me go. And I was relieved, but I didn't fully exhale until I was back in my car and driving away. Many years later, I posted that encounter on Facebook, and I was spooked by the comments. One white woman said that she often got pulled over in Oklahoma and wanted me to know that in no way was that normal procedure. Other white women said the same thing. Then my cousin asked me if the officer's name was such and such. I don't remember the name. I told her that I didn't know. She sent me an article of a white officer in Oklahoma who had been caught pulling over black women and had forced some of them to perform oral sex on him. What? I don't know if that was the same guy or not. I do remember thinking that he was going to tell me to do that. And I am so thankful that I got out of that situation safely. That was my last time driving across the country. I might do the drive again, but never, ever, ever again by myself. Journal entry from August 27, 2020. I keep trying to paint, write, laugh, and live like another black man, this time man, but not always man, did not just get shot. Like, ignoring the video is going to mean that I am not going to be traumatized by it. A bullet is always the monkey that stops the show. That poem or story that was going to be about sex or lilies has now turned a corner. That call to the homie that was going to have us both busting up has us both enraged. No human body is meant to hold this much trauma, especially not for this long. It's not just the shooting, it's all the ways we are blamed for getting shot, stomped on, and killed. How many higher selves can we be? I'm tired of dropping off my son at work and watching him walk into the building. Like, I look back at my car when I park in a sketchy neighborhood. America is sketchy, and you and I and our children are shiny new cars with keys inside, asking for it. Because ain't we always asking for it? Ain't we always begging to be brutalized? Shouldn't we know better by now? What we be thinking anyway, walking down the street, playing in a park, sitting on a couch, sleeping in a bed? My therapist says that I don't process trauma like most people. She says I experience a traumatic event and it keeps recycling in my brain and never gets worked out. That's why I can be driving or walking or whatever and remember something and my body experiences it like it's happening now. But what if it is happening now? What if it keeps happening? What if it never does stop? Because how is Trayvon not Emmett? How is Emmett not George? How is Sandra not Oscar? The trauma is recycling. And there never has ever been another way in this country. Ever. This anger, man. This anger is eating me up. And I love being a Black American woman. Because there are also easy days when observing the world through these eyes, these Black eyes, these woman eyes, these American eyes, the energy is electric today here in Leimert Park, here in Los Angeles, here in California, under this sun. The blue sky is Kiss, the street noise is Cotton, the food is God. I love my people, I do. Ain't no language, ain't no loving, ain't no body do what we do. A brother walked up to me, offered to sell me a handicap placard. I declined with a smile. Baby girl asked the old man for a quarter. He gave her $1. A sister pulled up on a brother and yelled out her window, "That's why I ain't been studying you none." To which he responded with a finger point, "But I bet your coochie thinking no." And the whole block laughed. Journal entry from June 4th, 2020. Hashtag George Floyd and all the rest. I am frustrated and angry that there is nowhere we can be together to scream and yell. We are pouring out our infuriated guts on social media because that is what we have. We must get naked here. But this is not a safe place for us to be disrobed. But here we are with white folks watching our every word. White people. Imagine how that must be for us right now. Imagine the extra energy it takes for us to make you comfortable. We don't have it right now. What you see every now and then on the news is what we live in fear every day. This is not an occasional occurrence for us. This is the normal we know. We don't have code switched white people voice for you today. We only have this bass, this anger and these tears. We are tired. We know that some of you love us and want to express your anger too, but respect the silence of your black friends right now. We do not have a shoulder for you to cry on. Imagine a black man raped your daughter and then cut her head off and then set the rest of her body on fire. Imagine all of this happening on film. Imagine he then went free. Imagine this isn't the first time this happened. Imagine just a month ago, a black man went into your church and killed your pastor and 9 other members. Imagine he got arrested. But on the way to the jail, the police pulled over into a Burger King to feed him because jail food sucks. And that's not all. Imagine your name is Tiffany Daniels. And every time you turn in a job or loan application, yours gets put to the bottom of the pile because the black secretary thinks that your name is too hard to pronounce. Now imagine that every time you go see your black doctor, he doesn't believe what you are complaining about. And now there's a pandemic. And there is rent forgiveness, but for some reason not for you. Now imagine that a black man just killed your mother and your dog, shot her in the head in the middle of the street, and you know in your gut that he is going to get off because black men always get off. Now all of your family has gathered, and then I show up with my greens and cornbread and flowing black tears wetting up the room, talking about this wicked world where we live. My friend, it's kind of like that. Tired. We are angry. Our bodies filled with rage. Our spirits know there is freedom somewhere. There is a place we can be our beautiful selves. Our bodies have never been there. We don't know that place, neither do our parents. We only know life on high alert. We have lived this way far too long. Take a deep breath. Take a deep, deep breath. This is what the air feels like just before the smoke. Scary. When my son was 2 years old, I was in a play in Hollywood. The night of the dress rehearsal, the cast was backstage talking. I was the only black member. The rest were white. One of the women started talking about how adorable her nephew was when he was a little boy. But when he became a teenager, he started looking and acting all scary. She said, boys do that. Another cast member joined the conversation and said that her teenager wasn't scary at all. And the first woman replied that it doesn't happen to all boys, and then turned to me and said, you're definitely going to experience this. She had never met my son. To my knowledge, she wasn't a psychic. I wasn't even in the conversation. My son is not scary looking or acting at all. In fact, he grew to be a very well-mannered and quite handsome young man. But these are the people he must deal with out in the world. These are the women he must serve on his job. These are the women employed at his bank and at the stores and restaurants he frequents. These are the women who drive the buses, Ubers, and Lyft. These women are police officers, property managers, and sit in jury boxes. Tell me how irrational it is for black parents to pray that extra prayer when our children leave home, as if they even must leave home. We black boy. We black boy. I couldn't watch the video. I couldn't watch the complete video. Rancho Cordova police officer beating the black teen. I finished the article though. I read the quotes about how the video doesn't show the full context. About how the 14-year-old boy lied and said he was 18, how he had a Swisher Sweet, was probably going to hollow it out and use the paper for some weed. like that matters. This boy is already criminalized. That boy, her boy, his, mine, because we all deserve it. The animals that we are. Black boy should have been at home. Black boy should not have resisted. Black boy should have turned the other cheek. Whole thing looks worse than it really is. Black boy's always suspicious. I am black boy. You are black boy too. And you, her, them, we all black boys. Criminals out here refusing to obey, out here standing on our feet, out here unwilling to go down easily. Black boy, black boy. Sometimes I am afraid to step outside of my own door. Scared to let go of my grown-up son. Black boy, black boy. What kind of wisdom do I have to impart? Run, don't run, fight, play dead, freeze. Maybe knives, maybe bullets, maybe fists, maybe words, maybe swords. Maybe we burn this whole thing down. What this time? Now. What now? Pants hanging too low, music too loud, colors too red, too blue. What do we do with all this ready, with all this anger, this rage boiling over, messing up our good shoes? What prayer ain't been prayed before? What song is there left to sing? Overcome what? Overcome when? Black boy I loved was driving home one night with a piece inside his vest. Cop told him to reach and put his gun on top of the hood. Black boy said no. Said, you waiting just to shoot. Black boy, making it home is one big gamble. Cries for help ain't never heard. Cries for breath, for freedom, justice, safety, life. Black boy place. Black boy on your mark. Black boy ready. Black boy set. Black boy hands up. Black boy fists up. Black boy go. Nameless one. Nameless was in the Navy. And I liked him well enough until sex with Nameless was good enough until one night, Nameless removed the condom without my knowledge. My period started day after Thanksgiving, didn't end until Christmas came and went. Nameless called me from New Orleans, said his mother been dreaming about fish until Nameless too. Nameless was caught in a lie again. I sat on our couch. He sat across from me on the floor. He said, I lied for us. For us. Again, like it was a gift for me he gave. Nameless solved problems with his fists and raised voice. Nameless didn't stay in one place, made babies across the land. Nameless called himself a god. Nameless lived off women because he wouldn't work for the man. Shame, a black woman gotta fight the boss at her job and the black man in her bed. Nameless 3 was a dismissive avoided. Ghosting was his thing. He was nonchalant about romance, never gave above the minimum. Because what woman is worth it anyway? Worth the time, worth the money, worth the effort, worth the flowers, worth the return call, worth the dinner, worth the date, worth a damn. Passing time. I'm kinder to myself. I stop in front of mirrors now instead of rushing past. I appreciate the people who love me with prayers, with money, with phone calls and kind words. My life is simple now. I sing sometimes. I dance during commercials. I love up on my plants, my sun, my soup. There are moments, though, when I get stuck. In those times, I sit, I pray, I think, drink tea, do laundry. I do a lot of laundry. I breathe in, out. I eat, dream, sleep, wonder, stretch, reach way up to the moon. Today I am a shower. Been 2 days since soap has touched this body. Mama taught me better. I am a short walk to the corner market, $26 off my card. The African man behind the counter reminds me of an ex-lover. I wonder how he is. I hope crack has not consumed his mind and body. I am the sky. I am fly. A man who sits all day on the bus stop tells me I am beautiful. I give him a smile. I offer him water. He declines. I am a prayer. They tell me that the snake plant on my table grows well in the dark. I do too, I whisper. I do too. I am a mother, always worried about my son. About your children too, I am a dream, a kiss, a hold, a cry, a masturbation session on top of the covers. When I am alone, I am often alone. I am the sword under my bed, the dollar bill between my mattresses, the shiny penny at my front door. I am a quiet clapback. I am a war. The clock above my sink tick-tocking, reminding me to grow, to remember, to stay. I am a woman who needs a reminder to stay. I am a healer, a poet. Bless the prophecy that falls from my mouth. This mouth is holy. This mouth is weapon, is fire, is flicker. I am 1 foot in front of the other. Until time to rest, I am rest. The deepest sleep until time to rise. Clench fist and then fight again. Good man moves. There's always been this mix of good moments and bad. Good folks and folks that mean harm. Sometimes it's hard to tell one from the other, you know. Once I was parked at a gas station pump. I was counting quarters in my change jar so that I could put more than $8 in the tank. And I noticed a black man in the truck next to me. He kept watching me and I didn't acknowledge him. I waited for him to leave and he didn't. Then finally I got out of my car and he was still there. I was afraid because I didn't know what he wanted. And then the handsome black man let down his window and asked, "You got it, sis? Do you have enough?" I didn't want to leave until I knew you had enough. I have more if you need. My shoulders fell and a smile danced across my face. I thanked him. I told him how much I loved that he waited so patiently for me. So many faces we wear. I wear happy faces, sad faces too. Some days I am the proudest black and free woman, walk barefoot across my lawn. I smile when I hear babies laugh. I wear angry faces. So many things make me mad. How you gonna say a black man found hanged from a tree did that to himself? Gonna say he broke his own bones, then climbed a high tree and left his body there for the whole wide world to see. So many folks want me dead. Patriarchy, my biggest foe. Come in every color. Come in white. Come in black too. A woman ain't a child. A wife ain't a slave. A woman ain't a sex machine. A man thinks he owns a woman's body, and the politicians all agree. My grandmother and grandfather built this great big land. See those big old pretty houses there? See those roads down there? See those bridges over there? That valley there? Those mountains high? Feel the dirt we stand on now. Look up at the sky. See the sun, see the moon, see the stars. Smell the ocean so big and wide. All this beauty surrounding us. Can a black woman stop and smell the flowers? Can a black woman dance naked in the wind? Can a black woman be safe in her own home? Can a black woman love the beauty that she is? You know what it's like to love and hate a place so much, to call the same place heaven and hell. Can a black woman rest her head and sleep throughout the night? Can a black woman walk the street with her hands in her pockets, just whistling a gospel tune? 911 woman. Being a black woman is being a fire woman. We put out fires all around. Some fires ain't got nothing to do with us, except everything got something to do with us. Being a black fire woman is to know that there is no one coming except other black fire women. So we love each other. We wipe each other's tears. We share food and water. Men call us names like strong and independent, but we know they only see us with heavy hoses and buckets filled with water. Dear Jaha, be kind to yourself. Wrap yourself in your own arms. Know that you are loved. Take time to rest. Wake up, keep moving, keep going forward. Listen, Jaha. Listen to the ancestors. They are everywhere. Follow the path of your guides. Know that God sees all. Even you, Jaha. Even you. Thank y'all. See you tomorrow.